Welcome to Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. There's a live shot on a Wednesday night, the first of 3 in 3 between your Sylvan Lake Gulls and the Okotoks Dogs. Welcoming you in to this beautiful and gorgeous night, the hottest day of the year. My name is Joe Whitbread, the public address announcer here at Gulls Field, and also your host on Beyond the Bases, brought to you by The Market in Bentley. We've got a very special guest along with our great kids running the bases. This is Finbar O'Brien. He started this ball game, went 6 innings of shutout baseball, and then unfortunately we are here to report that the streak is over. Finbar, welcome to Beyond the Bases.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad you're here. Obviously never easy to make an appearance with the media after a loss. It is the first one in a very long time for a team that's doing well, but we just can't beat that Okotoks team. How did you see this one unfold?
I just wanted to attack the zone, and I knew that they were going to be a tough team to play against, and they got us last time pretty good, so I just tried to make them put it in play, and I trusted my defense behind me.
As is often the case between the two top leagues in this league, this was a pitching duel. We knew it would be hard to hit this ball, and we thought through half the ball game that we might not see any. And then, unfortunately, some defensive issues, some errors with this ball club, and the bats that didn't get going. What is the mood like in the dugout or in the clubhouse after one like this, after winning so many in a row?
I'm not sure yet, so it hasn't happened in a while, but I'm sure we'll bounce back tomorrow. We know that we have 2 big games ahead of us, and we're going to do our best to get both those.
So this team, for the very first time that I can remember, is in the WCBL lead headed into this ball game. It's typically the other way around. The Okotoks Dogs, obviously one of the best in this league, back-to-back champions. You guys have an incredible rivalry, and as you said, 2 more this week. So it's get right back to it, right?
Yeah. We just want to bounce back, make sure we get some good rest, and be ready for the bus ride tomorrow.
Yeah, and it is a short bus ride for those joining us out of town or from the States. And I want to talk a little bit about your upbringing and where you played your minor baseball. Okotoks is about 2.5 hours south of here, an incredible ballpark just like this one. And so this is truly the 2 elite teams within this league and in the standings and also among fans, with all due respect to the other clubs in this great league. As you turn the page, let's visit, if we can, with you about your hometown, where you're from, and who might be watching on a broadcast like this from afar.
I'm from Portland, Oregon, and hopefully my family's watching still. My 2 parents, my 2 brothers supporting me. So
it's wonderful. And say hello if you can in the comments section, because all the guys do read that. Before you go, I do want to show you your work here specifically tonight. What did you see and how did it feel in control and speed?
Kevin called some good pitches behind the plate. You know, we have a good bond right there. And just trusted my stuff, knew that they were going to put some good swings on stuff, and I just tried to avoid bats, avoid barrels, and get some outs.
Well, it didn't go your way or our Gulls' way tonight, but as you said, with a handshake and a visit back to the dugout, 2 more chances this week to get the job done. The one job the Gulls have not been able to do in a winning season is beat the Okotoks Dogs. Finbar, thanks for joining us on the postgame show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Finbar O'Brien was the starting pitcher tonight, and Finbar joins us for Beyond the Bases, brought to you by The Market in Bentley. There's a look at the next home game. While the Gulls play the Dogs tomorrow on a Thursday night and again on a Friday in their park, this is actually our next home game. The Okotoks Dogs and the Sylvan Lake Gulls will rematch here in Sylvan Lake at Gulls Field on July 16th, and we hope to see you for that. Jamie Campbell is a name that many of you know on a broadcast like this, but not in a park like this. We are so very pleased to have one of the voices of the Toronto Blue Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. He makes the games look a little bit bigger on a bigger stage, and something that the guys in this league certainly want more of. Jamie Campbell, welcome to Beyond the Bases.
Such a pleasure to be here with you. What an environment here, my goodness.
I saw your tweet. You've got a very large crowd on X and on other platforms, and we so appreciate you visiting with family. What brings you to Sylvan Lake, Alberta?
I got a little bit of free time when the Blue Jays went on a West Coast trip, and I decided I wanted to take my youngest son out to Alberta to see some WCBL games. And so we started last night in Medicine Hat. We came up here to Sylvan Lake, and we're going to go to Okotoks tomorrow and see the second of this series. And I am looking around this majestic venue right now thinking to myself, this is one of the best decisions I ever made.
Well, and when you book a holiday, you don't get to pick the weather, but you also picked, this isn't often like this. We have a couple of Panamanian kids who were thinking Canada is really cold.
Right.
But you got some 34-degree heat. For those that aren't familiar, we are in a heat spell, and what a night for baseball.
You know, I lived in Alberta 25 years ago, and I don't remember summers like this, but I'll take it because it feels like it's the middle of baseball season, right? So I don't mind a little sweat on the brow.
When you work in baseball like you do and our amazing crew here in Sylvan Lake and throughout the WCBL, you don't get to see a lot of other baseball parks, whether it be major leagues and others. It is a job. It's something you do with pride, and we love it, and certainly love watching you on the broadcast. But now you get to see, and I know that you're a scholar of the game. I know you're a big fan of the game, and the WCBL makes an appearance every now and then on your broadcast. You really like this Western League.
I've always watched from afar and tried to absorb of much of it as I can. I'm very invested in the history of the game in this country, and that spans both coasts, north, south, east, and west. You know, I've read the history of, for example, I told this story last night, the Black Sox of 1919, when the 8 players were banned. One of those players, a guy named Happy Felsch, wanted to continue to play baseball, so he came up to Saskatchewan and played semi-pro. And the only reason I know that is because I looked up his phone number in Wisconsin and ended up talking to his daughter about it, if you can believe it, 50 years after his death. So the game in this country has been in existence for over 140 years. Yeah. And a league like this one has deep, deep roots, and it's always been part of my plan to come and see games here. And after I heard about Sylvan Lake and the venue and the team, a super talented team, I'm just absolutely blown away by this experience.
Have to ask you about Nathan Flewelling, a young talent that the Blue Jays have at least looked at. There's other young talent coming from this league, whether it's Tugboat, playing in the States, former Okotoks Dog. We've got some up-and-coming, Ty Boudreau made his appearance again tonight on the mound. These are prospects within the game.
And I had the pleasure of checking into the hotel today in Red Deer and immediately running into Nathan's parents, like the first humans I ran into when we arrived in town, and got a chance to finally watch him play. What an outstanding looking young player. Great poise, great plate discipline, has the build of a professional baseball player, and based on my conversation with his mom, his desire to get to the highest level is very clearly there. So I hope the Blue Jays are paying attention. I say that selfishly.
Yeah, of course.
They've done a really nice job in recent years of drafting and developing good Canadian talent, and I hope they pluck a young man from Innisfail. That would be nice. Yeah. It was really cool to see Elijah playing in center field tonight, because he and I are from the same hometown of Oakville, Ontario.
Love that.
Yeah, so this has been such fun for me.
And you get to see the Gulls one more time in Okotoks. You'll have a chance to visit with that great organization. We can't say enough of how we appreciate hearing our names, the names of our towns, the people, our community on the big screen. It means a lot. You've got a platform, and when you can bring the West to Major League Baseball, we appreciate that. So thank you on behalf of the Gulls.
My pleasure. I try to. I think it's really important for people who watch the broadcast to understand that they don't have to fly to Toronto to see good baseball and have a wonderful baseball experience.
So well said, and we'd be remiss if we didn't say go Expos. That's a nice touch.
You like that?
For a Blue Jays guy.
Yeah.
This is Jamie Campbell from Rogers Sportsnet. If you are from the States, many of our viewers from the States don't necessarily watch Canadian programming. Jamie is one of the voices of baseball in our country and makes the grassroots of the game in places like Sylvan Lake or Okotoks, Alberta, really come alive. So, Jamie, thanks for joining us on Beyond the Bases.
Great to see you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Jamie Campbell and Finbar O'Brien, our guests on this edition of Beyond the Bases. There's Finbar. Started in the sunshine, a hot, hot afternoon as the Dogs and the Gulls, the two hottest teams in this league, put on a show. Jamie made an appearance on our broadcast with Jim and Cale upstairs. The guys were really playing defensive ball, and the bats were stymied just a wee bit. This team continues to be poised. Pitcher's return of Ty Boudreau, incredible pitching by the Okotoks Dogs, continues to be the rock in the shoe or the cleat of your Sylvan Lake Gulls. They'll try it again tomorrow and Friday as the Gulls and Dogs do battle again. On behalf of all of us here at Gulls Field and your Sylvan Lake Gulls, I'm Joe Whitbread on Beyond the Bases, brought to you by The Market in Bentley.